All right. So automation. It is a process that is defined as the use of machinery with minimal human intervention. So think of it as just like robots that do like human jobs. They're seen in factories, mostly in places where the jobs can be replaced because they only require a minimal amount of skill. So they can just be done over and over without even having to think about it. So machines are able to do it easily. Automation is really widespread, and it's growing exponentially. It's impossible to stop, so as a society we're going to have to learn to deal with it and adapt rather than try to stop it entirely. So as a computer engineering major, this is an industry I'm most familiar with, and I'm here to convince you guys why it's a good thing, but also why we need to keep it in check and make sure it doesn't get too big for our society to handle and create economic problems. Alright, so I want to stress that automation is a good thing. Pat Cameron, a journalist, in her article on automated operations, lists 5 major benefits to automation for an organization, most notably of which are cost efficiency and just overall production efficiency. Additionally, Frank Lamb, in his book on industrial automation, Hands-On, details that automation allows benefits dealing in hazardous environments. Since machines don't have the same biological needs that humans do, they're able to work in environments that are like a lot more hazardous. So like, dealing with high heat, it's a lot easier for machines to do that. Humans have to prepare, wear suits, and it just takes a lot longer. And it's also more dangerous. As a more tangible example, MonetaryWatch.com lists, sorry, it doesn't list, it says that a factory in China actually replaced 590 of its 650 workers with robots that resulted in a 250% increase in production. Automation also helps in other fields. Google's Deep Learning project actually is able to diagnose breast cancer with 89% efficiency compared to a pathologist's average efficiency of 73%. The program also gives instant results, so it doesn't have to wait for results to come back from tests like a traditional doctor would have to do. So hopefully, as you can see, automation is not a threat, but it's a tool. It helps us keep prices low, helps save humans from unsafe work environments, and also saves more lives than possible without this type of technology. So why is it such a highly contentious topic? Well, the 2 questions that immediately come to mind are, what about the workers that the robots replace? And what happens to them after the robots take their jobs? Well, it's a lot less of a problem than people actually realize. David Autor, an economic journalist, actually found out that the increased output of an industry as a result of automation actually increases the overall demand for jobs in the industry because they can staff more people while still keeping costs down. So it actually leads to an increase in employment in higher skilled jobs, which pay more. So it's good for both the employer and the worker. Gilles St. Paul, a French economist, actually made an economic model that showed an increase in demand for skilled jobs actually overshadows the decrease in demand for unskilled jobs as a result of automation. So it's really not as much of a problem as people think it is. Employment doesn't go down nearly as much as people think it does when they typically think about automation. So it's a common misconception. Currently, automation, as it is in this day and age, is all benefits, and it doesn't have any drawbacks for us. However, in the future, there's another topic we're going to have to address. How do the laborers that get displaced by the robots get the money in order to be trained to work the higher skilled jobs? Well, that's where the current discussion lies. As it stands, there's currently no legislation in the United States that actually regulates this entire process. The only things that our government actually does in regards to automation is make sure that all the robots are safe for the workers to deal around. It doesn't actually talk about what happens when the workers lose their jobs. So it's sort of a gray area right now, and there's a lot of things we can do to influence our politicians to actually change their opinions on the topics. So one such suggestion, by Bill Gates actually, is that we can impose a robot tax. And what that means is like companies that make robots as well as companies that employ these robots will be taxed, and every dollar of the tax will be used to subsidize a program that trains the new workers into getting higher skilled jobs, meaning that the demand for the higher skilled jobs will be filled up as the demand for the unskilled jobs goes down. So the implementation of this legislation is also where the problem lies. So in an article from roboticsbusinessreview.com, they outline that China is going to automate 80% of their manufacturing by 2020. However, they don't have any legislation in place to protect their workers. This is a huge problem because manufacturing is the biggest job in China. It's most of their GDP. It's going to drastically affect their economy and the overall well-being of all the people in China that are working in manufacturing jobs. So while China is unable to protect their citizens, we still have a chance as Americans to do something about it. So Alan Boyle, who is a journalist, claims that Trump has not taken a definitive stance on the future of automation. However, he claims that American jobs are one of his top priorities. So this means that he's open to suggestions. He hasn't made up his mind on it, so there's still a chance to influence him to support automation while still keeping it manageable for the rest of the population. So this is where I call all of you to action. I want you guys to be aware of the issues, be active in the political system, and speak out to your representatives and let them know the information on the topic as well as your opinion on the topic. You can do this by writing letters, tweeting at them, calling their phone lines. They sometimes listen to the messages I hear. They're uninformed on this topic, so if you let them know their opinion, it could make a huge difference. So, in conclusion, automation is not only a way to save money, but it's also a way to improve the lives of people, provide humans with a quicker way to meet the demands of our growing population, and to provide a safer environment for all of us to work in the future. The problems that arise from displacing these workers can easily be combated if people speak up about the issue and protect their rights to the jobs. With any luck, the growing trend of automation will propel our society to bigger and better things while keeping our lifestyle livable for generations to come.